Welcome to the Castle Connection. It is April 14th. I'm Jared Claybourn, your principal, and I'm joined by Mr. Sheehan, our superintendent. We have a good show for you today. We're going to talk a lot about the school performance report. We're going to talk a little bit about testing, and then we're going to talk briefly about the cell phone, as cell phone information is probably rumored out there. So, Mr. Sheehan, thank you for joining me. How are you doing, sir?
Doing great. Thank you for having me. It's nice to see some warm weather around the corner here as we power towards our spring recess.
Awesome. Okay, so the school performance report came out. You've reported briefly to the board. You had a little presentation. You're also going to report to your community advocacy group, which is fantastic. But why don't we go through some of the pieces of that?
Yeah, so first off, the school performance report is a snapshot. It encapsulates some things about your school district related to things like your demographics, your testing data, your attendance data for students, college preparedness. So it's a snapshot, and it's something that is measured, and if it's measured, maybe you can manage it. So we're very proud of some of the things that we accomplished with our school performance report. So we have a couple slides for you here. The first one is going to show our NJSLA, NJGPA standardized test scores, which the NJSLA's ninth graders are tested in ELA and in math. And one of the things that we're pretty proud of, for the first time in years, we met the target. The state determines a target score for a school to achieve, and we did this. Now, one of the things on that slide that you'll notice is that the total number of students who took the ELA is over 200. I can't see it specifically, but then in algebra, it's 160. And people say, how come there's fewer kids who tested there? And that's our 8th grade students, right, from our sending schools who are advanced at math. Since they're not in our district, we can't count them towards our data. And we think that's pretty significant. So we're taking out 40 to 60 of our best math students, not including them in the data, and then we still made great improvements and we met the target. So how did that happen? It was a total commitment. The Board of Education supported the recommendation from our administration. We hired 2 new math teachers. We have a program, IXL, that we instituted. We also went to year-round instruction in math only for the first year. Now, by the way, this is a 1-year look back. This is school year 2023-2024. Obviously, this year, we're year-round for everything. So we're really proud of the commitment that the board made, the efforts of our teacher, and obviously the efforts of our students. And we really brought everybody along pretty well. We'll continue on to the next slide. By the way, just we can keep this slide, but the NJGPA is a graduation proficiency assessment for 11th graders, and we also met the target there as well, which is significant because it's a pathway towards graduation. All right, so the next slide. This is a 3-year look back at our performance over the last 3 years. Now you'll notice for ELA, we went from 26% to 27% to 41%. As we put more focus on it. Again, we had some teacher leaders, we had some interventionists, we had pullouts, we had tutoring. And then in math, we scored less than 10% in 21-22, 22-23, and then we're at 21.2% last year. So really significant, and the fact we highlighted, we met the target. Now, can we still improve? Absolutely. We want to continue to improve those scores. We hope that as students become more proficient at ELA and math, they can take more challenging courses, maybe take some more electives, maybe take some dual credit classes that help them understand that maybe they can go to college. So the next one is, we'll continue on with test scores, our PSAT and SAT test scores. So remember, our PSA test scores are taken for 9th and 10th grade students. Almost 100% of our population takes these tests, and it's just an indicator. Are you ready for, are you prepared for college? So you'll notice our ELA and our math scores are slightly below the state averages when we take the PSAT. Now the SAT is our junior students, and our juniors, if you look at their scores, they are above state averages. All right, so again, I think we're making significant improvement by the time a student is from 9th grade till the time they get to 11th grade. And again, that's an indication of college readiness if they were to pursue that. The next one we'll take a look at. Knowing your clientele when it comes to school performance is very important. So some of the data that we get, obviously it deals with your demographics, but we have a high number of students who take classes in performing arts, visual and performing arts. So between, Mrs. Phillips, Mrs. Kira, Mr. Young, Mrs. Blankenship, and Mr. Farr, I got to mention Mr. Farr, we do a great job. And a lot of times when you have good teachers, they're attracted to the class. Yeah. So we're higher than state average when it comes to enrollment in these classes. They do an outstanding job preparing students to take on college level music classes. And it really speaks to, the board wants to continue to support the arts, at Sterling High School. Yeah. All right, and then the last one we look at is college and career readiness. We already talked about the PSAT and SAT, but there's a couple other pathways that students can take to determine if they're ready for college. The first one is AP enrollment. Now, Our numbers are slightly below the state averages. However, for the students who take an AP course, 66 out of 72 pass those tests. That's a 93% pass with a score of 3, 4, or 5. And again, they'll get reimbursed, and you can earn college credits for passing scores, which is significant. A kid can go through Sterling and walk out of here with 18 credits for AP type courses, which is going to reduce the financial burden on the parent. But the bigger ones are the next two, our dual enrollment coursework, right, where we have a relationship with Camden County College or Rutgers Camden. Our numbers in dual enrollment classes are higher than the state average. And again, they're paying $150 a course. They take a course at Sterling that applies at Camden County or Rutgers Camden or whoever we have an agreement with at $150. Those classes are typically like $500 a credit. So you're looking at $1,200 to $1,500 as opposed, compared to $150 that we would charge. And why do students maybe prefer dual credit? They have a whole semester to show what they know rather than one test. But it shows that they're prepared for college and it gives them credits towards college. And then career and technical education, which is pretty significant. We have right now our early childhood development classes are the sole classes for career and technical, but we also would like to build that with our esports pathways that we have a relationship with Camden County College. That would be radio, TV production. That would be some STEAM classes, so some other things. So these are areas that we want to build. We're not just top heavy with AP. We want to make sure we're hitting our clientele in dual credit and CTE opportunities. So, along with that, our population is changing at Sterling High School. Over the last 3 years, our students who are economically disadvantaged has increased over 10%. Our numbers in special education has also increased. So as an administration, as a Board of Education, we have to be aware of those changes. We have to try to provide for those changes and meet the needs of our students so that they have opportunities after Sterling High School. So it's a really significant bit of data that we have with the school performance report. You can find more information on our website. It goes back about 15 years, but I would just really be significant or spend much of the time on this past year. And what we'd like to see next year is the data once we've gone the year-round courses for everybody, not just our math class or Algebra 1. It's going to be Algebra 2, Geometry, and also our sciences and our English language arts. So again, thankful that the board, the board supported the recommendations of the administration, and we see some success with our students. We're pretty excited about the future.
Awesome. So again, this was the 23-24 school year that we're talking about. It's a school performance report. You can find it on the website. And then if we just backtrack one more time, Mr. Sheehan, some of the changes we did came from the strategic plan, right? So we can go all the way back to strategic plan, how we worked through some of the goals in that plan and added the teachers and met the needs of students.
Right. When we first met in 2021, one of the biggest thing was, hey, your test scores, your test scores, your test scores. So, it's an easy measure, and we don't always want to go to test scores, but I guess now that since we're improving, it's good to notice the improvement and why it's occurring. And as you said, this all derives from our strategic plan and the goals that we had to improve test scores at Sterling High School. And again, we're not content. We want to make sure we're hitting state averages and moving and exceeding those, and then allowing students to pursue other interests while they're at school. So I can't say enough about that strategic plan and our goals.
Great. Awesome. Okay, so testing is coming up. So coming after the holiday, after our break, the ninth graders will take testing that first week back in English, and then they're going to do it the following week in math. And then May is full of different testing, so the teachers are keeping your students aware of when those testing pieces are. But just note that they will be testing when they come back on the NJSLA testing. All right, so it's no news to people that we have been talking about cell phones. We've talked about reducing distractions at Sterling High School as a community. And when I mean a community, like our whole staff has been gearing up to what's going to be the best fit at Sterling High School. We've read The Anxious Generation. I've been posting out there that we've been doing that. We brought in a nice speaker, collecting data. We ran surveys for our staff and our parents. But the idea is, why do we have to do this? Are we just doing this by ourselves, Mr. Sheehan, or?
Yeah, so we've been mandated by the state of New Jersey to come up with a cell phone policy, as every school in New Jersey has. There's also incentives if you happen to incur a cost with banning cell phones, that you would get a potential reimbursement through a grant. So there's legislation to support this. And I appreciate the administration and the staff's slow roll. There are a lot of other districts in South Jersey. They started September 1, went through some rough patches. We're learning from them what works, what doesn't, and it's been great feedback. So I think along with our efforts, the knowledge that we've gained from other schools has been pretty important. And we still have some work to do, and I'm excited, with the plan we have moving forward, and hope to continue to develop it with buy-in from the community, which we've also included.
Yep. So yeah, the truth is there is going to be a change in how we proceed with cell phones, and we are going to pilot that this spring. It will impact all students. this spring. The means and methods, we don't have put that out there yet, but we will. But yes, it is coming. So make sure you're having conversations at home with your students about partnering with us to reduce the distractions within the high school. Okay. All right, so spring break is coming up. We're looking forward to that. So we have a half day on Thursday, and then we're off from Friday through that following week. Athletics will continue. They do have regular competition that's going on during that time. You can find all of their schedules over the break. The last reminder I do want to make is, as the weather gets nicer, I want to remind you of the dress code. So please make sure that your students are leaving your house prepared for an academic environment at school. We want them to express themselves intellectually. We don't need to express themselves physically at the high school. So please make sure you're following up with your students on that. That's all I have for the show today.
I got a couple little details.
Okay.
We have a neurodiversity walk on the 17th.
Correct.
Right? It's a great, I think it's the third annual. It's
It
a great
is.
day. We also have Take Your Child to Work Day on the Monday the 28th.
Correct.
And then once we get back from break, man, it goes quick. These seniors are going to have such a great experience at the end of the school year. Prom is that May 2nd, which is that Friday after we return. So it's pretty exciting, and please follow along on Castle Connection and on the website for some of the upcoming events we have at Sterling High School.
All right. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Sheehan.
Thank you.
Guys, have a great break, and we'll see you when we get back. Go Knights.